When I joined Creative Connections, I thought I had a pretty good idea of what we do and what we're all about. We link up kids in the U.S. with kids overseas, and they exchange art as a way to learn about each other's culture. How simple is that? How hard can that be to explain? I thought what we really need is a good one-page summary, a snapshot if you will, that explains really clearly and concisely what we do. We'll put that together with some samples of our artwork in a tidy little package, and there you'll have it. Everyone will understand. So I set to work on the snapshot as my first project. And then the fall performance tour came along. 19 kids in the Rossyanochka dance troupe from St. Petersburg. And suddenly, and I must admit fairly unexpectedly, I found myself playing host mom to a 9-year-old Russian boy. This is not the sort of thing I generally volunteer for, but I wanted to be a team player, so I welcomed Senya into our home. He spoke no English, and my family speaks no Russian. By the second day, he was jet-lagged, homesick, in tears on his cell phone with his mom, and I was thinking this was going to be a very long 17 days. But after we picked up my kids from school, we went for a snack, and over French fries, he pulled out his cell phone, started playing a song from it, and my kids said, "Hey, I know that song. That's 50 Cent." And that was pretty much all it took. From that point, they were completely at ease with each other and fully able to communicate. Senya would ask for something, and Ethan would tell me, "He wants a glass of milk." And I'd say, "How'd you know that?" And he'd answer, "I don't know, I just did." The kids had a great time together, playing and sharing video games and music and friends, and I learned that a language barrier that I thought would be a huge problem was a non-issue for kids connecting as kids. Not long after the tour ended, the artwork from the year's ArtLink exchanges started coming in, packages from all over the world. And in early January, we convened our jury of artists and educators to select the pieces that go into our International Children's Art Exhibition. This was my first experience with the jury selection process, and once again, I was the one learning. Over 2 days, the jurors looked at over 2,000 pieces of art, selecting those pieces that they felt best depicted some aspect of the artist's own culture. This was no easy task. All of the artwork was beautiful, and for nearly every class, at least 5 or 6 pieces were real contenders. It was amazing to see the depth and breadth of insight and understanding of their own cultures that kids brought to their work. And the selection process inspired some great discussions among the jurors of what culture means, what we should be looking for, what was just below the surface, and what the partner classes would find. Only days after the jury selection, the earthquake struck in Haiti, and having been to Haiti in the past, I was devastated to see what was happening and wondering what could be done to help. A few weeks later, I was talking to my friend Louis Elnius, whose organization, Haiti Lumière de Demain, works with public school kids in Haiti, and he told me how meaningful he thought an art exchange would be for the kids he works with. Within days, we had set up an exchange between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders at the King School in Stamford and kids on the island of Gonave, near Port-au-Prince. And from this exchange, I learned about the empowering effect of encouraging kids to share their lives with peers in another part of the world. For the King kids, this was not about helping victims of an earthquake by collecting change or clothing. It was about sharing their world with the kids in Haiti. And for the Haitian kids, it was not about receiving sympathy or aid. It was about giving something of themselves to kids in another country who wanted to hear from them and learn about them. This was much more than just an exchange of art. And at this point, my snapshot was starting to feel a little too black and white. Not long after we embarked on the Haiti exchange, we opened our International Children's Art Exhibition at the New Canaan Library, and to our great delight, Mohammed Abdel Dayam, the director of the Wekalet El Gouri Art Center in Egypt, came from Cairo to join us for the event. Mohammed's students were selected as our International Art Partner of the Year for their beautiful depictions of the life and culture in Egypt. And I had the opportunity to accompany Mohammed as he met with local school kids. As Mohammed spoke to the kids, he would ask them what they knew about Egypt, and they would answer, "Pyramids." And then they would look at the Egyptian students' work, and there were no pyramids. But there were holidays and celebrations and depictions of home life, which turned out to be remarkably similar to the experience of the American kids. A baby shower, going to the market with Mom, staying up late to celebrate a holiday. And when Muhammad told the kids that Egyptian kids associate America with Hollywood and baseball and cowboys, they laughed and said, "Well, we have those things, but that's not really our culture." So I learned about the power of art to break down preconceptions about a country and its culture, and to show kids that not only are there differences, but also greater similarities in their lives. Only a few weeks after that, I really got to see firsthand how anxious kids around the world are to tell their stories and to tackle preconceptions and prejudices when our program director, Sudha Shankar, and I went to Jordan to work on our new U.S. Arab Art Link initiative. We have a wonderful partner NGO there with whom we are piloting this program in the fall. After a day of being tourists, we spent 3 very full days talking with students and teachers and educators, hearing again and again how much they wanted to have a dialogue with kids in the U.S. and how they hoped to break through the misunderstandings and misconceptions that separate us. On the final day, I watched Sudha give a wonderful presentation to a group of teachers and educators. Using the ArtLink curriculum, she quickly encouraged them to be introspective about their culture, to think about who they are and what they would want to tell someone in the U.S. about themselves. And she made them think about what their students would say. And some of them were surprised to discover their own preconceptions. So when we left Jordan, I had a much greater appreciation of what participation in ArtLink means to our overseas partners, and more specifically, of the promise ArtLink offers for breaking down barriers where mutual misunderstanding and misinformation abounds. And finally, 2 weekends ago, I attended the Gala for our partner Stepping Stones Museum for Children, where I watched a video of a group of kids in the Guatemalan rainforest meeting a group of kids from Stepping Stones, with whom they had just completed an art exchange through our Rainforest Art Link program. Through this program, kids in the U.S. develop a unique awareness of the rainforest culture and the environmental conservation initiatives being undertaken there by our partners in the Rainforest Alliance and the Paso Caballos Mayan Biosphere Preserve. And through video conferencing, the Stepping Stones kids and their Guatemalan partners were able to meet face-to-face, strengthening and expanding the connection they had initiated through their art. This is the future of ArtLink. Moving forward, we are poised to seize on emerging communications technology so that the connections we forge will only become stronger and the relationships we initiate between peers around the world will only deepen. But I'm worried about my snapshot. It's still a good description of what we do, but I'm afraid it doesn't tell the whole story. The whole story comes in seeing the connections in action, the artwork and the stories the kids tell, the dialogue and discussion that goes on behind the scenes, the excitement of the kids when they make new friends, the aha moment when they realize that they have more in common with kids in the rainforest or Egypt or China or India than they ever imagined. That's what brings it to life, and that's what adds the color to the snapshot.